Welcome in everybody to the first trial between SOMA and Eternal. Zaka here on the play, coming out on the Astro's resting place. Now is the question, do we see the better or the slower start here from the Survivor team, trying to hide out Corrupt a little bit? That was something we have recently developed in competitive DBD as a strategy. Once again, Zaka is going to go deep into Corrupt here, trying to go for the first Survivor, trying to locate them, and that's going to be successful. A sprint burst is coming out by our Adam here, but the first infection coming through really early into the game here, just 40 seconds. So now you can also go back towards this mid part of the map. A second infection is coming through already. Meanwhile, the Survivor is very likely going to cross you, but this is a dream start for Zaka. Usually a lot of time is taken here, 60 seconds into this trial, and 2 of them already infected here. That is going to be difficult towards the later part of this match, as we do see that Thanatophobia, and Zaka seems to feel really confident with this start here, going for the power already. And if he's now also able to zone the Survivor towards the top side, there would be the interruption of the active gen. Near mind game working out here, but unfortunately not going for the hit here. Good save by Team SOMA, but Zaka really on point here in the first seconds of the Plague set.
Zaka's already going to get 2 of those Thanatophobia stacks up and ready very soon. Volga trying his absolute best in the middle of the map here, trying to juke out Zaka's ability as best as he can, but now unfortunately taking that first hit. That is going to be the first stack on the Thanatophobia, and very nice fake on the pallet, shows the back there, but does not commit to dropping the pallet, and instead just immediately makes it around the corner, avoiding that down. But Volga now getting stuck on the rock a little bit, does end up going down. That's going to be the first down of our game, but on top of a pallet, but I don't hear any footsteps nearby. Zaka swings for good measures regardless, but that is already going to be the first stage of the game, and I doubt our survivors have two generators ready. We see a cure coming out very soon. One survivor on 70, the other very close to popping. Now we do, I believe, have 2 generators pop on that side of the map here, while Volga will be stuck on the corrupted area, so none of those generators will be able to be worked on. So this might be a very dominant late game for Zaka if Volga hits the next step of progression very soon. We see Zaka abandoning that side of the map entirely. Might be sure that all 3 survivors must be on this side. Oh yeah, we did actually have 2 survivors on generators and the third one curing, so Zaka should know exactly where all 3 survivors are. Now taking this very dominant position in the upper side, on the main building side of the map here, in the middle, trying to cut off any saves here. Swatter is going to gun it, however, is going to take the Cleric, trying to cross to this other side of the map here. Well, we do also see Zaka being very cautious on the other half of this map here, trying to prevent the unhook. But we do still have 2 survivors infected still that are going to grant more Thanatophobia stacks. We do, however, see our Dwight running in, the only one who is yet to be infected. Might grant Zaka that next Thanatophobia stack very soon, as Volga already hits the second stage. This is looking extremely dominant for Zaka so far.
This elimination is something you really want to, and he's working for the elimination really nicely here. He has survivors around as well, but he keeps an eye onto them, and that means also they are not working on these objectives right now. Zaka rotating back towards the hook, quick, taking a look. This is more infection onto our survivor here. They need to be careful now with the full infection here, because going down next to the hook here would be tremendously bad, but they are moving in a good timing. This is going to be our Adam here, Swatted going down towards the edge of the map, but our survivor actually going for a move towards the mid part of the map here, and this is going to be some chance to go for recovery here on Team SOMA. This is going to be some additional hang time. This is now going to be the rotation towards the shack here. 2 minutes of hang time. Meanwhile, we will see generator number 3 coming out in the midsection here, but you mentioned the dominant standing for Zaka here, and this is going to be the 3-gen that is still alive here on the shack side. Down here we can see the survivors pulling returning back, taking it a little bit more careful here, going for the cleanses on the top side, making it impossible for Zaka to reach, but this infection here is huge once again, and this pool here on the top mid towards the main building is not that far away that Zaka couldn't go for it. Nice time management here as well, going for the power without risk, returning back towards the hook here, no rescue to there it is going to be the borrowed time hit onto our Adam. He is kept behind the shack for now. Zaka trying to get the down onto this survivor here really quickly. The rock mine game's coming up, but our survivor is staying strong here. Nice moves by Soma. Now he is going down. This is going to be another trade if Zaka goes for the pickup here. The next hook stage coming through. Meanwhile, we do lose the generator in the midsection now, but as long as this 3-gen here is still alive on the bottom side, Zaka is in a very good spot. 2 minutes hang time for Soma, but a lot of work to do.
And with Soma does manage to get these saves perfectly timed, but at what cost? Zaka has so much pressure. Already 3 stacks of No Way Out are secured with 2 generators still to go, and Zaka still manages to maintain 3 generators. Is not going to allow Soma survivors to repair on the 3 generators on that one side. Finds another survivor in the middle with that ability that is running out very soon, but still going to get the down here. Last second onto our Adam. That is going to be the down right in the middle. Well, we still have one survivor hanged on the hook here. It's going to be very difficult for Soma to recover from this, given that one survivor is still injured and Volga being the only one who's still healthy, but dead on hook. So any interaction with Zaka, between Volga and Zaka, will put the team at a huge risk of losing a survivor at 2 generators remaining. And against the Plague, given that Zaka still has the 3-gen up on this side of the map, would be so extremely disadvantageous. Terrify will not be able to play this pallet here. Is going to go down on the pallet, but of course there's no survivor nearby as Zaka picks up the Dwight confidently and is going to secure the next hook, which is going to be, I believe, already the 5th stage of the game with 1 generator still to go. But Zaka is keeping the 3-gen on this side, with 1 generator also being right next to the hook. So Zaka is in such a dominant position, and the survivors of Team Soma are just constantly forced to cure, as Zaka still maintains this spot in the middle as sort of a watchtower here, that he's just sniping any survivor that tries to run past. Extremely good control in the middle here, but yeah, the survivors will be forced to cure over and over, and eventually they are going to run out of pools, given the velocity that's, or the momentum here that Zaka has infecting these survivors constantly.
Yeah, he's doing such a good move here in this midsection. The choke point hold management, we could call it, from Zaka is just on point. He's doing such a good job taking the injury as well, and he's never taking it too far. He's not becoming too confident. He's not taking too much risk here. He keeps an eye on the generator, knows that the survivors would try to attack the bottom side here, and therefore he finds our next survivor, Adam Swatter, who was earlier moving in for the rescue, and really great timing, is taking a hit here, and it's going to be difficult. He's trying to force the stun, not going to work out. A few seconds on the power, but zoned towards the dead zone anyway. A few circles around this car. Firecracker wasting some time as well. Now it's all about the seconds, and once again a dodge into the corner of the map. This run actually longer than expected here. Really good work by Team Soma, getting seconds for the survivor team. Volga hiding already close by, not being spotted, would guarantee a really nice savior location here, because Zaka might not be aware that another survivor is still hiding on the bottom side here at the shack. We see the scratch marks leading towards the top. They're all rotating away here. They're rotating away from Zaka's pressure, trying to keep it safe. We might see a cleanse once again, and there's the save coming through from Volga, who is hiding perfectly there behind the shack. Really good work by Soma. They have great responses, but this pool here at the top side keeps being the resource for Zaka's power for the 28th time, it feels like. And Zaka now going back, and this might be huge, spotting the Nia here. She might not make it all the way towards the top here and might be able to be hooked there. A few survivors have to work on the bottom side, but they are all rotated towards the top side earlier. They are now going for the cleanses as well, so Zaka has some time. He knows that, is taking the chase, and if he gets it down here, in the midsection, that might be a really, really tough one.
Oh, and Volga does get spotted in the middle. This survivor has already gone to second stage previously, so that will be the first death of on the SOMA survivor side. But even with Swatter's incredible chase in the corner, almost managed to salvage the game, but we'd hardly see any progression on these generators. A very unfortunate RNG skill check prevent taking another 10% off that middle generator I believe they were working on. But with a very awkward situation they have here with 3 generators on this side, this is barely winnable for Team SOMA. While Zaka has all survivors injured, 1 even infected in the broken status effect. So 2 of those survivors will be able to manually heal, but Zaka is going to maintain these Thanatophobia stacks. A very nice attempt here on the snipe, but does not manage to play Shack Bullet here, unfortunately. Going to see the vault here into the break. So our survivor was able to avoid getting downed on Shack with that Shack Bullet now being kicked to destruction. But Zaka still has these 3 generators available, and as the resources run out, it is becoming more and more difficult for our survivors to push out of this situation.
Yeah, 3 survivors alive, resources are getting less and less. This pallet being forced by Zaka as well is now going to leave the trial here. The pressure is going to be lower on these generators, the efficiency as well, but they have done a pretty decent job here on this generator on the bottom side next to the shack. On the right side, we could say Zaka just taking care about all the pallets here, making sure that the survivors won't have an easy time going towards the top side that easily, because it would be crucial if Zaka is getting another down here towards the... But they actually did it! Generator number 5 against our prediction and against the odds here. They are pulling it. There's a no way out with 3 stacks, so that's going to be 48 additional seconds for this end game, but this is actually an impressive play by SOMA's survivor team against Zaka's pressure, able with just 3 survivors knocking out generator number 5 here. 1 chase is going to start at the truck, both exit gates here on the bottom side, so this chase actually needs to stay alive quite a lot of time here in order to run out the no way out and then go for the exit gates. Mind games coming out and a lot of patience being proven by SOMA here. The zoning back towards the shack is going to help Zaka a little bit, but looking onto the no way out timer, that's 5 seconds remaining. So the other door could be attacked really soon here, and that would mean that a 2 out might be possible here. Zaka committing to this survivor, realizes the pressure that is now coming in from the survivor team. Mind games once again, beautiful down by Zaka here, and this is going to be the question. Slug with a little bit of risk or just going for the pickup, and it seems like Zaka is accepting the 2 out here.
Zaka from the cleaning crew already taking care of all the dropped wood that has been littered throughout the map here. But very nice bait here from our last survivor, running to the opposite side of both of these exit gates, and against the odds still managing to secure the 2 out against a plague that is stacked with Thanatophobia. Because Zaka taking a little drink here to celebrate the ending of this game, which is going to put him at 10 stages. Both of those survivors have escaped, being dead on hook, being near dead on hook. So that is going to grant only 2 points on top of the 10 points that they will get for all complete generators here. A beautiful win condition for Team Eternal right from the start here. This is going to be very difficult for Volga to beat, given 10 stages on play can be very RNG dependent and very difficult to beat. But Zaka was able to apply so much pressure and maintain it with the middle spot that he was constantly able to take advantage of. That is going to be the first very dominant score result from our first match between Eternal and SOMA on the Plague set. And after a short break, we will be right back with Eternal's response on the survivor side. Welcome back to game number 2 in set number 1 with Plague on the Azor's resting place, now with Volga representing Team SOMA on the killer side against the survivors of Team Eternal. We're already going to see a very stealthy approach right from the get-go, similar to what we've seen in the previous game with Team SOMA on Survivor. But as we've already discussed in Campfire Chat, Plague usually requires a more stealthy approach at the very start of the game, because the map is split into 2 sectors basically, and you want 2 survivors on each at least to make sure that you get maximum gen pressure. And something to point out as a side note as well, given the dredge update, there are now a big amount of lockers added to the map in general. So that might be something that will be taken advantage of on the survivor side. But of course, Plague has a very nice way of checking whether or not a survivor is in the locker by simply puking on the locker, and then you will see the progression starting on the left hand side. Volga already going to go around the map infecting pallets here, but unfortunately not able to find a survivor just yet. That have most likely already crossed to the other side, and we do already hear the pistons turning on that generator as the puke hits it as well. We do not see a survivor, but that is now finally the first survivor inside. I believe that was Dan now trying to get as much distance as possible by going right behind Shaq.
Absolutely beautiful start by Team Eternal here, keeping it really slow. We are over 90 seconds into this trial, and there's not even an infection being taken yet. There's a life by Royalty, not being an infection either way. So this is just the confident play style we have seen from Eternal before. Sometimes we say Eternal doing Eternal thing, Royalty now taking the infection here, but the corrupt intervention is about to expire right now, so 7 generators will be ready to be attacked by the survivor team of Eternal. We do see some progress down here, but this is going to be the puke not finding its target, so we're going behind the shack, but this might be dangerous because there is the corrupt pool here. This is going to be quite some duration of the power here. The double apple being brought by Volga, so we want to see a little bit of an additional power pool here later on in the trial. Funbus mind games coming out, not going to work on Eternal Survivor here. They are going to circle around now. The double back, barely missing the survivor. This is now though the full infection by Royalty is forced to break this, but brutal strength is going to help here a little bit as well. Royalty on a really strong run, and if this run isn't ending very soon, then we might lose a second and a third generator here.
As you've already commented on the nature of the start by Team Eternal here, so far overall, this is the best possible situation you can ask for on the survivor side. Eternal playing this absolutely optimally, with coming down to their positioning accordingly with the exhaustion perks, and then Volga gets stunned out of the last seconds of that ability as that second generator pops in. I would not be surprised if we saw a third one. We see Eternal playing this so safely yet aggressively, so much gen pressure exerted while Volga struggles to get even a single down. Only Royalty has so far even been hit with the basic puke. Not a single survivor has been struck by the corrupted puke, but of course Volga does take advantage of the double apple, so still has 2 pulls available. Royalty will be found once again here, the only survivor that is actually injured, but Volga still has to play around main building, will be able to pick up the corrupt purge once more, but it still has to play around all these towns that Royalty will be able to take advantage of. The window does not spawn there, so Volga unfortunately not going to find Royalty in an animation lock that would have put him down, but Royalty with once again a beautiful skip off that tile, going straight to the next one, has that pallet gem available. Now Volga has to be careful not getting stunned out of the ability. Royalty caught a bit off guard, however, and will be hit through the window, as we however already have that third generator popping, and at this point in the game Volga on the survivor side was already dead for Team SOMA, so this is a huge difference in hook pressure from the killer. This is now only the first stage given to Volga after the third generator has been popped, and I don't think he has a 3-gen available anymore since Eternal had so much time to set up this split here of a beautiful 2-2.
It's just amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, you might be aware that we are handing out awards at the end of the season. We need an award for the best Plague Runner 2022. Your Royalty with an insane chase here, allowing exactly that, the split of a 2-2 on Azeroth's resting place. And as we talked about this map earlier, this is really what you do not want to see as a killer. You're losing the chance to take advantage of your hook location. You're losing the chance to hold the choke point and control the survivor movement. Zaka here behind the rock next to the main building, and the last generator is already on on the go. There's someone positioning at the exit gate. There's going to be one stack of no way out. That's going to be 24 seconds, but Eternal is not going to worry about that too much here. The last generator is coming out any second here. Volga guarding the two generators at the top side, but it won't be enough. No way out instantly triggered. More coordination being proven by Eternal. Volga realizes that if he wants to win this for his team, he almost needs a 4K now in the last 60 seconds of this trial, and Zaka's even around here. Even if that fails on the bottom side, then there's a rescue around at the main building, so Eternal not even too confident in this situation, still making sure that everything is set up for the win here, and this is going to be Volga with the power, but there's very likely not going to be much what he can put up as a response here. The cleanse by Royalty coming through here as well. 2 stages so far in the end game. No way out expired. We do see a split on the doors as well, and Eternal might actually go for a 4-man escape here.
Given that Zaka was already able to get 10 stages in the previous game, and that Volga was only able to hook Royalty throughout this trial, a single escape would already spell out the win for Eternal, and as we have that exit gate being opened and all 4, not a single survivor incapacitated, that is going to succeed very soon. But as you've already said, it looks like our survivors are trying to set up the 4-man escape here. We still have several survivors coming in, trying to tank a hit here for the injured Dan that is currently on the run from Volga in the chase in the middle, but still has this pallet gym, or the jungle gym available, and we see Royalty coming from around the corner, gets the stun into the smash hit, and that is going to be the 4-man escape if all survivors manage to get to the side, and it does seem like it. Volga's just going to U-turn back to the pallet, and we have all 4 survivors escaping with only 1 stage given on the set that was picked by SOMA, given that this is the only killer Eternal has dropped a set to, with a score of 44-17. That is the resounding victory for Eternal. But just before we enter the intermission, I would like to comment on what exactly happened at the end there. With Royalty, or with the generators being split 2-2 on each side, Royalty was on the hook as the first hook is in total. So they were able to finish both last generators for free, as they were exactly on the opposite side of the map, and they only needed 1 escape, and we didn't see an exit gate around Royalty, which means that there was at least 1 on this side that the generators were being repaired on. So they could just leave Royalty to die while they finish the generators and just escape with 1 person. The moment Volga hit Royalty, they had already won, or committed to at the moment Volga had committed to the camp, they had already won, and in case something went wrong, in case Volga decides to go to the other side, they had Zaka ready for the save. So perfect, nearly basically flawless positioning by Eternal overall. Only 1 stage given to Volga's Plague. And after a short intermission, we will be back with the next set that will be Artist on the exact same map. We are going to pester you today with a very green color palette. So we will see you right back after a short intermission.
Welcome back, everybody, to trial number 3, opening the second set with the Artist on Astros resting place. Eternal is going to stay on the survivor side here, and this is going to be something which they will really like. After this very impressive 2-stage game on the Plague, they are ready to strike once again. We do see the first mind games coming out here. This is going to be our Nancy doing a good job so far, and now it's a little bit of a back and forth here, and we already see the assistants coming in into a sprint burst here. Really nice work by our Nia. We can already tell Eternal is going for a nice team play here, once again dropping this filler pallet to make sure that the down is not coming through too quickly. Nia now in a difficult spot though, so this might be a teammate rotating over this filler pallet. Yeah, there it is, Nancy being located in the back here. Zaka taking a hit now, 2 injuries early on. The sloppy butcher, an interesting choice here. We are going for some indirect pressure through longer healing times, and now Nia holding W towards the edge map. There's going to be Z-wall action potentially, or just the W into the corner, so a lot of time being taken here. But from the first first look, this is a way better and more confident start for our killer.
Yeah, and we already see the Flashlight's teamwork right from the get-go. With Team Eternal, you always have one survivor, the bearer of the Flashlight, being nearby, trying to avoid the artist from being able to use her ability altogether. And I love how we also always talk about, before we even get into the game, we always talk about who takes the intro this time, but it seemed like the artist wanted to have a go here, as we saw her scream right from the get-go as soon as we loaded in. Volga in a very dominant position, however. We already see the strength of the artist here. Now, just imagine if Deadman Switch was a thing. But, of course, no thanks. We have one hook here, and Volga is just going to be able to stand this position, sniping generators from cross-map here. But we still see one of those generators being popped here, and that rune is also now going to successfully leave the trial. So Volga is going to lose a lot of pressure here, but still has so much to work with all three generators on this side of the map here also available. Gonna see two birds being sent over. Gonna see Dan take the crow on the fall down, but we're gonna see two people running for the save. Dan should have enough distance to get it done, and he will be able to get that save just barely. Gonna see the hit come through, but both of these survivors are now swarmed due to the first purple add-on there that is going to allow exactly that. And then now we see Dan reaching a dead end here, as either he W's into the crows or he just takes the M1 here. Gonna see Volga tries to get the snipe done here, but Nightlight with very unpredictable pathing is going to be able to avoid that entirely. But Volga is going to reclaim this hook, but of course there's no progression to be made on the killer side, as basically all of those seconds that were spent camping have now been deducted, as now Dan is back on the hook to be fresh here. Of course it is the 6 points in total, but no survivor not hitting second stage is a huge waste of time on the killer side if he does commit to the camp here. So Volga now struggling a bit more, but still of course does have those three generators still up, and we do see our survivors being trying to heal in the meantime, while the other survivors now also going to show themselves. Both survivors will be hit by the crows, and we see the locked, I believe. No, actually all survivors now being swarmed. And Nightlight gets sniped cross map by the back turn. Cool people don't look back on explosions, and we see Volga doing exactly that. Going to snipe Nightlight cross map. The hit on Zaka comes through, going to deny all of the pressure from Team Eternal. I'm taking it all back that Volga was not able to get much pressure out of not being able to secure. Beautiful snipes all over with the crows, putting up so much pressure.
Especially coming from this Plague set, right? Eternal Survivor team being so confident, playing straight again, and then you are able to step up for Team SOMA. So impressive. Dan is eliminated in 40 seconds from now. Volga is aware where the survivors are. Nightlight takes another strike with the birds here. Really strong play so far, and this is going to be the locker being used to get rid of the crows, but all that costs some time, and all that makes it impossible to just move in, go for the unhook, and now it's Volga holding this choke point. Now the tables have turned here. It's the other way around. 180 flip from the pressure. Eternal is running after Volga. SOMA with such a great game here in trial number 3 so far, and especially in case we see the elimination onto Dan here, that would be so huge, because the 3-gen is still standing. It will come down to the patience game with these survivor. Claudette moving in, that is going to be just a matter of a few seconds, and they do get it off here. Dan is getting saved. This is going to be Nightlight with the strike as well, but this is going to be a move towards the mid-section of the map here. This is Ace taking the strike as well, but all of them now trying to escape this difficult one here. Dan would be eliminated very soon, therefore we see Nightlight moving in here, and therefore it is going to be absolutely deciding what is happening in the next few seconds here. We have 4 injured survivors. If there would be snowball potential coming out from Volga, that might be horrible for Team Eternal. If somehow in this chaos they are getting a generator done here, 3 of them repaired, but Eternal needs serious seconds for a full reset here.
Take it all back what I said at the start of the game. Volga being able to turn this around so beautifully. Now all survivors injured, and Dan might now take the one. We have no survivor being able to tank a hit here. That's how Danova makes it back to the pellet and greens it. Goes back to the window, straight back to the window, but does not take it. Still has that pellet to work for another fantastic, another extremely greedy play on the pellet. But we should have a survivor very close nearby. Yeah, we do see, I believe that's Roy. No, it's Nightlight. But we do see the crows are going to hit our survivor, and the pellet safe does not come through. Volga will be able to get the death out at 2 generators remaining, but given that these survivors have not been healing in the meantime, we might see a generator popping very soon. Yeah, there we go, exactly. We do still, as Volga now has completely lost this 3-0 on this side, but does, however, have one survivor out of the game. All 3 remaining survivors injured. Sloppy Butcher not going to allow them to heal as well as they normally can. Volga still tries to find the possible reset here on this side, or maybe even a survivor has pushback. Yeah, but this is going to be the reset on the TL. They do manage to get 1 heal off, so we do have a potential hit take for our injured royalty on the Claudette. We do see exactly that is going to happen. They push through that 1 reset, so one of them can take the hit, while we have Nightlight working on the track generator on the opposite side of the map, as the Crow is going to directly come back with royalty, and we're going to see the flashbang being used as well on the locker. But Volga is going to look at the window here and then subsequently waltzing it. But it's not going to be able to get royalty. Never mind. It's going to win the Red Stain mind game on the jungle gym. Will put royalty down on the ground, as we still have Nightlight working on that generator, but royalty will be able to communicate immediately that a crow is in fact being shot straight at Nightlight, who manages to dodge it and not go down, similar to what happened earlier in the game. But the last generator is now being completed due to the double, but no way out. Still has that node available, but of course with all survivors being injured, that is only going to grant Volga the speed here. But with beautiful RNG, with both exit gates on this side of the map here, might end in a 4K. We see Zaka going down, Nightlight the last one standing, but Volga leaving the side of the map here. Maybe was not aware that the generators has been doubled. This is going to be the perfect window of opportunity for a comeback. Volga going to check on his node instead, while all survivors are injured. Yeah, still checking on this side of the map here. Nowhere near any of where the pressure is. With both exit gates on that side, that is a very puzzling decision to be made here. This might be the perfect window of opportunity, as we have Zarko on the floor being one tap to the recovery. Volga still checking on this side of the map. Might as well just go for the exit gate now. Open the exit gate, pick up royalty, pick up Zarko, save royalty, and then they get the out. Volga still on that other side of the map here.
Yeah, this is a very interesting choice here by Volga. I'm not entirely sure what the thought process was there. Maybe he was sure that one of them would still remain on the top side here and trying to play a little bit safer. It's unfortunate though, right? Because I feel like Volga would have deserved a few additional stages in the end game here. We will see that the royalty is now being sacrificed, but this is going to push us into the 7th-stage game here. So this is going to be a very, yeah, I will say not quite the result he was deserving after this very amazing game. And I think this is something we need to point out here. Eternal, after their play game, playing Survivor straight again, and Volga just stepping up in such an impressive way here. From the get-go, he was getting these hook stages in, working on his 3-turn. We've seen some very, very beautiful snipes cross-map there, always on point with the awareness where the survivors are, what his surroundings are. So a very, very strong game here from SOMA to put the pressure a little bit back here. It is going to be 15 points awarded to Eternal for the 5 stages out of the door, where 17 are going to SOMA. So this is going to be very close score here, and it's all coming down to trial number 4 and the question, how is Eternal's killer prepared for this artist set? And we've pointed out in the campfire chat earlier that might be really, really well. So SOMA, after a great killer game, needs to pick this up into their survivor side, and we are going to go into trial number 4. Before that, I do need to go and give some credit to the staff member you heard earlier with the surprise of the snipe there. There was Blueberry being really excited for Volga here, same as we are, and we will stay excited for Team SOMA in trial number 4 after the break.
And we are back with the potentially last game here, game number 2 in the second set overall. We have Nightlight on the Artist representing Team Eternal against the survivors of Team SOMA. We just saw Volga play Artist with some beautiful snipes here. We might see Nightlight trying to get some revenge here after Volga managed to get the cross-map snipe. But Volga is also going to be the first one in chase here, takes the hit across the pallet here. However, Nightlight using completely different elements to what we saw being brought in by Volga. The chase is going to be taken right into the middle here. If Volga doesn't have a hit tank available, however, this might be the death relatively soon. We see the scratch marks on the left side here, which means there was a survivor just running past, trying to get to the... Oh, a very beautiful slow fold. Oh no, I think that was a live dance of me, live and dance of me. Volga getting so much distance here. That is no, actually the lucky break here, still no scratch marks following our survivor after that first hit. So really nice by Volga. You completely confuses Nightlight and will be able to get so much distance right back to the other side of the map here. Volga with a phenomenal run. This might be a lot of generators very soon, but unfortunately headbutts Nightlight here. But Nightlight is playing the stronger character and is going to take nothing of it and put Volga right into the dying state as the first survivor.
Volga with a very nice run still here. We do see some progress in the first generator. 2 generators actually here at the bottom side are attacked by Team SOMA. Milston is potentially rotating towards the top side now, trying to go for the save here. Meanwhile, Nightlight is holding this top choke point, sniping a little bit. We definitely need to see a revenge here on some of these survivors. At least one snipe is needed. There's one on the Terrifier, very beautiful one. This survivor is going to be busy with the crows for a little bit. There's the injury straight after, so Nightlight is stepping up here with the pressure, making sure that SOMA is not working on these generators for free. The Hex Ruin is going to leave the trial in exchange for a second generator. Now, Survivor not being aware that Nightlight is so close. Swatter is taking a normal M1 here, and that actually leaves Milston as the only survivor who could potentially, without risk, move towards the top side, and he's getting located as well. Now everyone injured here. Second stage at the top side already, and these survivors now with the difficult choice. They need to go for a reset before they can move in for the save, but that would cut down the generator time, or you're staying injured, but then you might be a target of the snipes of Nightlight here. So Volga might actually die here.
This at first looked very similar to what we've just seen, but as you said, the ace here, our Milston, the only survivor that was the one to be injured. Speaking of the devil, ran right that moment into Nightlight and grants the last injury. Nightlight also still has Pentimento available, is now going to kindle it, and that is going to be Pentimento of Volga dying very soon on hook here. We see not a single survivor is ready, poison ready on that side of the map here. So Volga is inevitably going to die on first hook here. Gonna see a very delayed balanced landing activation on Milston here. It looked like as if he's still staggered here. Gets the vault last second with a little bit of teabagging here. But of course, Volga now dies on hook, and that Pentimento is yet to be taken out right in the middle of a 3-gen against the Artist. And a snipe right onto Terrifier. It's going to redeem. Nightlight is going to redeem himself successfully here with that snipe, and the 4th stage of the game right next to the Pentimento, right in between 3 generators. This is looking extremely grim for Team SOMA, and if anyone has been questioning themselves has been asking themselves what that add-on actually does, the purple baby shoes that Nightlight is using every time a dire crow, it actually reveals the aura of survivors within 5 meters of an idle dire crow is revealed. So every time you walk close to a dire crow, your aura will actually be revealed. So in case you have a survivor trying to perchance go in for to destroy the husk, or destroy the crow, the idle crow, or just take it on themselves so it can't be shot. But Nightlight, with an even more dominant performance than what Volga just had in the previous game, where I believe the Eternal players actually managed to get the rescue onto Dan, who was close to dying on hook successfully, but Volga just dies first on hook here. This is going to be so difficult to recover from.
Yeah, Nightlight has the pressure and he has the win condition to himself as well, right? He knows that 7 stages here have been put up and you have Terrifier moving into hook stage number 5 very soon here. And you're sitting on 3 generators yet to be repaired. So you have the time factor on your side and that is going to be really, really crucial here. Milston is working on a generator at the bottom side next to the shack here. And one survivor is in chase. So in fact, Terrifier might not be saved as well, at least not if Milston is not rotating towards the top side. Milston is taking a snipe here by Nightlight as well. Nightlight really working on his snipe counter here, doing a good job. Snipe crossbow onto Milston here, and this leaves the spotter as the final survivor in this trial here. Nightlight is going to finish this off very likely with a 4K on 3 generators still standing here. We talked about Nightlight taking a revenge for these snipes he received, but this was not a revenge. This was an absolute pure dominance in set number 2 once again here. Eternal doing eternal things, we could say, but going absolutely nuts here in their games. This is so impressive to watch. And even though SOMA had some moments where they were shining, where they were stepping back up with the Artist by Volga here, Eternal not struggling a single moment.
Yeah, Nightlight finishing off this game in a massacre, currently trying not to drown in his ocean of blood that he's created on the Azos resting place. A beautiful finisher to what Eternal has started against Team SOMA, and they will inevitably be able to once again win with a 2-0 score, but we're going to see Nightlight dropping our last survivor here. Maybe try to set up for a 1v1 or something of the sorts, but we do see Milston now wiggling off. Our ace player is going to take the chase into the middle, and this is also going to continue our light mode or reoccurring theme that we've had throughout the trial, where all survivors are just left to die on hook the moment they get on it. So Milston once again going to leave his teammate behind, making it to Shack. We might see a Shack 1v1 starting it very soon, and we do see exactly that. But of course, the hatch is also going to spawn, I believe, at main building or Shack. I don't recall exactly where they put it, but it's one of the positions. I just got confirmation that it is indeed Shack. So you might see Milston trying to go for this, but now running back to Swatter, but I believe has no real interest to going for the savior. Has a lot of distance, but is just going to make it to the 4 lane in the middle. I believe hit the fast forward even on the 4 lane here, which can be relatively difficult. Nightlight going to go for a very ambitious swing right around the corner, or as one of our co-casters usually say, a very audacious swing around the corner, trying to get the connection onto Milston right through the pallets here. But so far playing it very well in the middle is going to extend this chase drastically. And at the moment I'm just shoutcasting a 1v1 event. But yeah, we've got Milston still trying to keep up the chase in the middle. Daya, how about you get a turn on the 1v1 event?
Yeah, this is Milston actually showing off here. I'm not sure if that was the intention from Nightlight. I'm not sure if that was the intention from Nightlight when you let the survivor wiggle off for one final chase here. Maybe you want to set up for a 1v1, but Milston is for me the winner here in this quick 1v1, because that was a very just run against the Artist here. So it is going to be the finisher with 3 generators still standing, but Nightlight here losing a little bit of credit by this fantastic chase. Milston is earning some for Team SOMA. Overall, very nice fight here. Nightlight just on point with his Artist. We said earlier, Eternal was picking Artist before. We said Nightlight is a very confident Artist. I think this today was a very dominant Artist here. So it is just really insane what they have shown us. And looking onto Eternal, just as an impression from trial number 4, what we have seen here on Killer and Survivor side was just, yeah, I'm gonna say it again, Eternal doing Eternal things.
Yeah, as you always love to say it at the end of watching Eternal, as you said, Eternal doing Eternal things. I can only emphasize it. That is going to conclude the last matchup of this weekend right before we enter our mid-season break. A beautiful finisher with Nightlight's a phenomenal performance on the Artist. But of course, this is not where the stream ends just yet, because we are going to have an interview very soon with one of the Eternal players, one that they will send out to have interviewed by none other than Willie Awesome, the host of DBDLeague. So right after a short break, we will be back with exactly that. So hang on, and we will deliver you some more beautiful entertainment very, very soon.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another interview with a player from Eternal. This time we have Zaka doing the interview, coming off of yet another win. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing pretty good. Happy with this win, so pretty good.
I mean, these were some fun matches to watch. I bet they were fun to play, so I imagine anyone would be feeling good after coming into the mid-season break undefeated. How does that feel? How does it feel to be undefeated so far this season?
Feels really good, to be honest. It just feels good. I don't know.
Fair enough. So I want to ask something. It didn't really come up today, but has come up a little bit in the past. So one thing I've noticed is that you've taken on the role of playing the nurse a lot. I know we didn't see nurse today, but this is just something I want to ask about. When did you realize that you should be the one to play nurse over Nightlight, who traditionally has been an amazing nurse player?
I just started playing Norse because Nalite was a bit rusty, so then I started playing Norse. I was getting good results and stuff, so I just said, I can just keep playing Norse. So, but then I started. Well, I play pretty much almost every killer instead of, apart from Spirit and Blight. So then I gave Nylat to play Nurse again. So like he can prepare more in those killers, and I can focus on like M1 killers. He can just focus on Blight and Nurse, and I focus on M1. So
fair enough. All right, my next question. So you're going into the mid-season break, so there are no matches. What is your team going to be doing with this time off?
Keep preparing for next matches. See what are our mistakes in the games. What are our bad killers, for example, and just prepare for them and be good with them.
All right, and I have one last question for you. So we've been talking about this whole interview how you are undefeated, but you haven't played against other top teams like Six and Oh Boy yet. Are you worried at all that those matches might be a little bit closer than some of your previous matches?
I'm never worried, bro.
All right, I like the confidence. That is all the questions I have for you. Do you have anything you would like to say to the World Wide Web?
No. Eternal #1 team, that's it.
Fair enough. Yeah, so that is all we have for this interview. I've been Willie Awesome with the Dead by Daylight League. Thank you, Zaka, for your time. And we are going to head right back to the post show, and we'll be back.